Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. We're going to talk about FinCEN. I know it sounds like a weight loss drug, but it's not. This is you may have heard of this. Basically, it's asking, I guess, requiring. Which I'll start this off. Let me prime this one. Please go verify what you need to do for yourself. This is going to be very much an overview, and I don't want you to get in trouble with the federal government because of something I say. So please go check what you need to do for your own companies. Double check everything. Make sure you know what you need to do to be compliant. Don't rely on this. But basically, it's a requirement that if you own a business, you register the ownership with the government. It has to do with fraud and money laundering. They're trying to, I guess, make sure that people fairly represent who the owners of these companies are. Why does that matter? Why am I talking about it? What does this have to do with real estate law? Well, I think a lot of our members own properties in LLCs. And so what does this cover? It really covers corporations, LLCs, any entity created by filing a document with your Secretary of State. That's kind of that's what the federal government says. So that's going to be most entities. And there are a few exempt ones. I'm not going to go into those if you feel like you might be under that. They're not like kind of normal LLCs and stuff. So you can look at what are exempt to see if you feel like, charity, something like that, nonprofit-y kind of stuff might be exempt. But most of the entities you're dealing with probably are not. So if you own an income property, a rental, something like that in an LLC, or you just have an LLC for your real estate business, then this would require you to go and register your name. It doesn't cost anything. You just have to go and fill out a beneficial ownership info report is what they're calling the form, and you do it online through the federal website. Beware of fraud. There is a little bit of fraud going out there where people are trying to say, hey, come, register through us, and you give them a bunch of information. It's not actually going through the federal government. So it's not supposed to be terribly hard. You probably are going to need your entity number, your EIN, or some type of identifying info. So you might have a little homework to do to get some of the info backing it. So you're supposed to, if your entity was created before January 1st of 2024, then you had till January 1st of 2025. So basically 2 weeks from now to file this, or you're subject to a bunch of fines and penalties. And if you created the entity after January 1st, 2024, so this year, you had 90 days to file this with the federal government. There was a lawsuit in Texas, and just a couple weeks ago, this Texas court put a stay on the requirement to file. And so as I looked at the info today, preparing to talk about this, it appeared that the government website said that the requirement it's mandatory, it's voluntary right now until that court case gets settled. I think they're appealing the judgment from the Texas judge. So again, this is where I say, please verify for yourself on keep up to date. I don't know when you're going to listen to this. I don't know what the status of any of those court cases will be when you listen to this, but there has been a judgment saying that maybe the government can't do it. But I guess in other jurisdictions, people have sued about this and lost. So I don't know if this will stick, but you can go file now to just make sure you're compliant if you think that's the best course for you. So I just want you to be aware that that's out there. I feel like maybe you guys are hearing more about this than I am, but I feel like this is a pretty significant thing that isn't being talked about a lot. I haven't heard a ton about it. And so, yeah, if you own any sort of business where you register with the state, with the Department of Commerce in the state of Utah, then you're going to be likely subject to this unless you fall under one of the rare exemptions. So go investigate this. Again, it's FinCEN. You can look up info about that and decide if you need to file and take care of it. Again, if you have all the info, I don't think it's terribly hard, but maybe gathering the info is the hardest part. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Thanks for tuning in.